You know, logically, when an industry is doing extremely well, like gloves right now, right, the assumption is that everyone in the industry is also doing well. But it's not the same case for rubber farmers. So why the disconnect?
I think the main issue is with rubber price because rubber price has been quite low for quite some time. So that is actually the main cause why there is the disconnect between the downstream, which is the glove manufacturers, and the upstream, which is the plantations and the smallholders. So for the smallholders, their whole issue is because of the price of latex in particular. The farm gate prices of latex has been not quite attractive for them to go out and start tapping. So that's why when the price is not attractive, the smallholder group in Malaysia, they're very sensitive towards prices. So when prices are not attractive, they just don't go out and tap, which is understandable. It's like, you know, an employee, when the salary is not attractive, doesn't motivate you to want to continue working in that same place. So it's that understanding behind why smallholders are not actually going out and tapping, and why we don't have that latex volume in Malaysia. So basically for glove makers, their main raw material that they source is latex. So they require about 450,000 tons of latex from what we understand. But Malaysia is only producing 36,000 tons, or rubber industry is only producing 36,000. So that shortfall, what they do with that shortfall is they import rubber.
From Thailand, right?
Yes, from Thailand, Vietnam. So there is that availability to import at a lower price. So for glove makers, their argument is, if I can get it at a lower cost by importing, why should I support the local industry? And they said they are willing to support the local industry if the price is actually right for them. It has to be on a commercially viable term. And it's kind of a chicken and egg situation, because for the upstream sector, they say that they can't produce latex at a very commercially viable price because they don't have the volume, they don't have that ecosystem to support the latex production.
I mean, there's always a catch, right? So, but anyway, you know, I saw that you spoke to a few smallholders, and their main issues are, you know, high cost of living, low productivity. So what is it that they want so they can also ride this current boom?
So the smallholders, basically what they want is, it comes down to price, because right now why they're not going out and tapping is the price is not attractive to them. So they're a group that's very, I would say, price sensitive in that sense. So the first thing they want is for the government or the authorities to come in and set a minimum price for rubber. Then that could actually give them the impetus to want to go out and, you know, tap and such, and be more and for the government to actually incentivize them to produce more latex. So right now there isn't that incentives for them to actually go for latex production. So what they're actually looking for is for there to be an ecosystem for latex production in the country, which currently is lacking. For example, last time there used to be that infrastructure for latex production in terms of latex collection centers. But apparently this is not there anymore. So that's why they want this infrastructure to come back. Because right now they're producing more cup lumps instead of latex. So cup lumps are basically used for the tire industry, while latex goes for more of the downstream, like the glove makers.
And you also wrote this interesting piece about, you know, the industry as a whole. So the question is rubber a sunset industry?
If you speak to those in the industry, they would say no, because they believe that there's still like 1 million hectares of planted rubber area, and so there's a lot more that we can actually exploit. And there's still a strategic importance right now, because, like, for example, taking Thailand as an example, Thailand is now trying to, because of the demand and for gloves, they're trying to actually enhance their upstream sector, and we should be doing the same. So there is that strategic importance right now more than ever because of the pandemic, and that is why they believe this is not a time to say that the rubber industry is a sunset industry. It's actually pretty much the opposite. And you know, we have been always producing more of the cup lumps which are used for the tire industry, and that also they believe is not going to go away. But perhaps we could change this proportion whereby we are producing more latex now instead of kaplam, that probably needs to be changed rather than the current situation where we're producing more kaplam compared to latex.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Age Weekly at all good newsstands.